Hey y'all, welcome to a brand new video. Have you ever been curious about which seat in the house is best for concerts or shows? Well, you're in luck. Today I'm going to show you some pictures and videos from concerts or shows that I've been to in Nashville at Bridgestone Arena, the Ryman, the Schermerhorn, and even TPAC, which is the Tennessee Performing Arts Center for those non-Nashville folks. All right, let's get started. All right, we're going to start off at the Ryman, also known as the Mother Church. I've seen many concerts here. David Blaine, I was up in the balcony, as you can see here. With Idina Menzel, I was on the floor, but off to the side, and the view of the side of the stage and the back of the stage is really restricted. You can see here, when I tried to zoom in, it was kind of blurry. This is a view from that seat with Idina. The best seat I've ever sat at was seeing Darren Criss and Leah Michelle. I was in the center aisle, row 10 on the floor level. Really great seats. The pictures or the video doesn't really do it justice. I did zoom in quite a bit just to get a really close view, but I really didn't have to. This shot right here is just another view from the same night. They were off to the right side, but as you can see, without all the lights behind them and the stage, it is a really, really good view, and I thought this was a pretty good shot myself. Now, moving on to Bridgestone Arena, right across the street. Yes, Queen, Adam Lambert. This show was amazing, but more importantly, the seats were fantastic. If you're one of those who can stand in the same spot for 3 to 4 hours. So let me tell you, when you're on the floor, you have a very good chance of not being able to sit down because everyone else around you is standing up too. My feet were absolutely killing me by the end of the night, but it was totally worth it, even if I could barely walk out of there. This was the one and only time I've ever actually sat on the floor at Bridgestone. Again, totally worth it, but only because it was Queen and Adam Lambert. I don't know if I would do it for anyone else, but of course that's very subjective. It's up to you. You do you. If that's your thing, then by all means, go for it. One cool thing about sitting towards the middle or back of the arena is that certain acts will come out and perform in those areas. Like Brian did here, their stage reached out to the middle of the floor, which was awesome. It was one of those, you're so close I can reach out and touch you situations. Don't worry, I didn't. You ever have those cases where you want to go see someone in concert because you like their music, but not necessarily the biggest fan? Well, Imagine Dragons was that for me until I saw them in concert. Whoa, I totally regret getting the cheap seats, but nonetheless, here's what the view looks like in the nosebleeds just to the right of the stage. Yeah, they are really tiny down there. But don't let this discourage you. If you don't really have the money to go to all the concerts that you want to, pick a few, and if you can only sit in the nosebleeds, you're still going to have a great time. You can still hear the music no matter where you are in the arena. It's really one of those situations where there's no bad seats in the house. You're strange, no father is not proud of. So I had the great fortune of seeing Idina twice. This time was when she toured with Josh Groban on his Bridges tour. These videos make it look like they were further away than they actually were. This was honestly really close. Not as close as when I saw Michael Bublé, which you'll see in a second, but still very close. The only problem I've found is that when you get closer to the main stage, you're going to be actually further away from the back of the house stage that I mentioned earlier. So there were times that Josh and Idina performed on the back of the house stage that I didn't actually have a good shot at. But again, you can still hear the music perfectly fine, so there's really no bad seat. So the same situation with Josh. These were the exact same seats. Idina actually opened for Josh. I know, surprise, surprise. So again, not a bad seat, really close to the main stage. At the end of the show, he actually had a piano closer to where we were. So again, not quite reach out and touch you, but you can still see close enough that you don't need a magnifying glass and you don't have to use your video or your camera to see them up close. And no, he is really not that big. That's actually just a projection from the camera where they were recording in-house. I'd really be curious to hear what your favorite seat is at Bridgestone. Do you prefer the front of the house, or do you prefer the back of the house? Do you prefer the floor or the first level? Tell me in the comments below. Bonus! Okay, this is obviously not a concert. This is Stars on Ice tour. One of my very dear friends got me tickets for an early Christmas present a couple years ago. And of course, I've always been a fan of ice skating, and I never went on a Stars on Ice tour event, which was fun, but I thought I'd throw this one in here because I had never actually sat at the opposite end of the arena. So you can see the stage is on the very far end. We're completely opposite of that. It would be hard to see from a concert perspective from this side, but again, you are at the back of the house. So if they have people who come at the back of the house and have a stage back there, you're gonna be front row, basically. So this might be your thing. If not, you do you. And no concert review is complete without Panic at the Disco, right? I was further back than I wanted to be here, but still not too terrible. I love Panic, so of course I wanted to be front row. I was not on the floor this time, but rather the first section of stairs, 5 rows up. I think it was 4 sections over from the stage, but I'd have to double check that to be sure. The one thing that was amazing about this concert was Brendan and his piano flew over the entire arena. Yes, the entire arena. Oh wait, okay, that's not what we're reviewing. Okay, sorry, back to the task at hand. These seats, yes, still good, closer to the floor, but almost closer to the back of the house as opposed to the front of the stage. So, there's that. Again, if you're a back of the house fan, you would love these seats. If you're a front of the house fan, maybe not your cup of tea. Okay, this is terrible, but I totally forgot where I was sitting, and I cannot find any of my documentation to show me where my seats were. But let me tell you, I was to the left of the stage in the very first section that kind of angles, and this was one of those reach out and touch you moments. He was so close, like so close. And he waved at me. At one point, he looked at me in the eyes and waved at me. Moment of silence. I also want to give a shout out to that dude that was behind Michael in the pit. I mean, you were getting down, dude. We're going to move a couple streets over to TPAC, the Tennessee Performing Arts Center. Now, this is where you can see all the Broadway touring shows. I usually have a season pass, so I get to see 6 to 8 shows a year, barring 2020, because obviously nobody's seeing shows. And you never know who you're going to see in Nashville. Here is Keith Urban and Nicole Kidman, yes, at TPAC, seeing School of Rock. That was awesome. Also, here is a view from the front seat, or front row, seeing the orchestra pit. Moving over to the Schermerhorn Symphony Center. This is a view from the very, 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 very top row. I saw Kristen Chenoweth there. This is, again, still a view from the very, 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 very top. Kristen is tiny, and you can see I had to zoom in extra hard here. This is a view from the front row. I saw Matthew Morrison there. And yeah, you can see it was extremely close, like literally I could touch. I threw in this next picture only because I took it from the front row, and he ended up using it on his Instagram account after the fact, so that was awesome. This was a view when we saw Buddy Guy, and if you look at the back rows there, this is a view behind the orchestra. Yeah, Kenny Loggins, there he is, the main man. So when you are behind the orchestra, you're looking out into the other audience. And that is it, my friends. I hope you enjoyed this tour of views from various seats at Bridgestone, the Ryman, TPAC, and Schermerhorn. No two seats are alike, and it really is subjective depending on what you're going to see. My favorite venues are the Ryman because it's more intimate a concert, but I also love the Symphony Center because, gosh, it's just beautiful. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have a favorite seat in an arena or theater, let me know. I'd love to check it out the next time we're finally able to get back to seeing concerts and shows. If you like this content, please give me a big thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel, as well as clicking the bell to be notified each time I post a new video. It really helps support my channel and bring you content like this. And as always, stay curiouser.